All right, guys, we're back. But hey, Ninja Panda has joined the party. Awesome.
Yeah.
So before we go into the
What's
next
up,
match,
guys?
just real quick, what are your thoughts on the event that happened at Survivor Series last night?
So the events of Survivor Series, I honestly didn't think it was going to happen. I thought they were going to wait for like the Rumble or something for that to happen. I knew it was coming eventually, even though WWE said, no, on a cold day in hell, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. I didn't expect them to pull the trigger this soon. I was pretty ecstatic. I was kind of happy to see him back, unlike Seth Rollins. But yeah, I was really happy to see him back, and I want to see exactly what kind of feud they're going to put him in. If they're going to put him in with Seth, or worse yet, if they're going to put him in with Drew, or, one of the guys that was probably pissed in the back, or, if they want to make it legendary, put him against Cody. We'll see what happens there. I mean, that was something they had been waiting for in AEW, but it never came into fruition, so why the hell not? But yeah, otherwise, I was really happy to see it. Oh, yeah, and Randy Orton's back. Forgot about that.
And R-Truth. Don't forget about R-Truth.
Oh, yeah, the truth is back, baby.
I will say I had one thought of an idea for a booking decision for Punk, and that would be him fighting and beating Jake Paul or Logan Paul, and then winning the U.S. title and then dropping it going, I don't want this garbage. And then going, I want a real belt.
Oh, God.
That's what I would do. If I were just go like him, like, yeah, hero of the masses, him going, yeah, no.
Wow.
Or worse yet, you know how WWE used to have those pyrotechnics where it'd be like a big garbage can or something still on fire or whatever? Just have them walk by and just politely.
Yeah, and then you could like destroy it and be like, this is now the straight edge champions.
Exactly.
If you've had alcohol in the last 24 hours, you don't get a shot.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody loses by a technicality, they had Listerine in their mouth that morning or something like that.
So the next match we got here is a three-way match for the AEW TBS Championship, not to be confused with the Nickelodeon Championship or does the Playboy Channel even exist anymore? Like, I don't even know there's a need for it, but whatever. Chris Statlander defends her title against both Sky Blue and Julia Hart. And it was very noticeable that Sky Blue had the dark makeup and she had a new theme and she's a bit more serious and dark now. She's under, I guess, Julia's control or influence to a certain degree because they did double team Chris a couple of times, but then when it was the time that she's out and they both look at each other, Sky Blue does not shy away from attacking Julia Hart. So yeah, it's a pretty intense match. Chris got to show off her strength. I think there was a part where she actually picked up both and slammed both their asses down to show off, her power and everything. Sky Blue did her moves and her deadly kicks to the side of the face and all that. But in the end, Julia Hart won. And I believe Julia actually pinned Sky Blue to win and everything. And so now Julia Hart is the AEW TBS champ. And what are your thoughts on the match and your thoughts on that occurrence?
I, for one, am happy because I'm sick of Statlander, and I'm happy they're finally pushing Julia. She's gotten so much better in the ring. You could tell that Brody King is training her like really well. She's gotten way better in the ring. She's focused more on submission wrestling, which is like almost non-existent in the women's division outside of maybe Ring of Honor. But within their division, there's like no one who does like submission style. Like everyone else is like one or two moves or are powerhouses and then that's it. Like, but I like that Julia is more of a submission wrestler, but she's also like got that kind of mysterious character. Plus, I do love the design of the heart around her eye was really cool. That's not really anything to do with the match. I just thought it was kind of cool. I love how she's like, it's like, so someone called her, I saw someone online, is it calling her Sky Blue anymore? Now that she's all emo and depressed, they're calling her Blue Monday, like the song. I'm like, that's actually pretty good. I like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna call her Blue Monday from now on. Not as many botches as I was expecting. I was expecting a lot more. It's mostly from like, because usually there has to be, when a triple threat, there's usually like one person who's like the one carrying the match. But I think they all had a good amount of momentum for each of them. I thought it was a pretty just good, solid women's match, and I'm happy Julia is finally the champion and finally a champion. I hope she can elevate the division, make it better. And now we got 2 new women's champions, so who knows what you got, this kind of creepy goth dwarf girl, and you had a funny, weird, eccentric woman who's stuck in the 20s. So it's like characters win, I guess.
Yeah, that's one thing I do want to say now. Do you think, because, it's been said time and time again, one of the biggest problems with the championships and stuff is that they don't know what to do with them once they actually get the title. But a lot of time it's because they don't, at least for the women division, they don't really have much character other than, I'll take on all challengers and that kind of shit. So now that these two actually have more of a personality, do you think that maybe they'll get a better title run?
I think so. I think really they're going to have a better title run because, think about it. Like Hikaru Shida, talented in the ring, very talented in the ring. But what is her character? She's Japanese. That's pretty much it. And there's like Jade.
And she uses a Shinai.
Right. And then, yeah, that's true. But like each of the women who have been champions, I think that's the reason I like Thunder Rosa, was because like, even though she didn't have as much character, she had more like vibrance when she came out in the ring, like visually aesthetic and like more made up for that. So it kind of was like a throwback to like those old school women's wrestling matches. But like, there isn't really any character building in the women's division except for, I said it before and I said it again, literally the best woman they have on their roster is Athena, but she's not even technically a part of their roster. But I like that they gave the title to 2 women who are actual like characters, but can also really wrestle. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with that. Maybe they'll follow suit and go, hey, maybe people want to see more characters, want to see more development of the women's division into this kind of, wrestling, of course, first, but like you need to build something with it too. Otherwise, you're going to have a 3+ year span of a roster full of jungle Jack Perrys.
Cry me a river, Jack. Well, honestly, that was a decent match. And like Jack said, it's rare to find a female wrestler nowadays that's mainly into submissions. But like, I was actually surprised. And yeah, Brody is definitely helping her out. Like, you can really see a lot of his influence in her technique, which is really exciting. And also, yeah, I would like to see more gimmicks. Heck, bring on some more people into the forefront. If she wasn't in Japan, I'd say bring in Maxie and Paler. Or better yet, since they keep putting her on the back burner, again, on the AEW milk carton, where's Abaddon? Put her in there.
Is that
like the female fiend, something of that nature. But they need more gimmicks and more characters than just, okay, I'm a fighter and I'm here. I totally agree with you on that. Now, the whole thing with Sky Blue, if she started using Blue Monday as her intro theme, I would die laughing. That would get me back into watching AEW just to have that happen. That'd be hilarious. But back to the match. Overall, it was a good match. Pretty solid. Really little to no botches, which for a triple threat match is highly unusual. But yeah, overall, that was one of the better matches in the show.
I have to agree. I was into this match a lot. I was in it from beginning to finish for the most part. And like, it's like something like Jack was saying, the match itself never lost any momentum. So that helped too. And also, as was pointed out, there weren't like a lot of botches or anything like that, or things that even I would have noticed with my untrained eye. So so yeah, it was a really good match. I love that finish that they had. Like when you think with like what's his name was going to win, and I can't talk today. Must be getting late for me. Then once they just snuck in there, and Julia Hart just snuck in there and just stole the pin. I thought that was so
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that was the thing
Yep.
that what's her
Julia
face?
stole.
Statlander
Statlander hit
Sky,
the move.
yeah,
Julia-
got her finisher, and she took it, and then what's her face? Julia took advantage of the fact that she was knocked out by the finisher, shoved Chris out of the way, took the pin. Like, wow.
She pulled an edge.
Yeah, pretty. Oh God, yeah. So yeah, I really love the setup of this match. I love the ending of this match. I love everything throughout the match. Like I said, everything was good to me. And anyone who put this match down, well, I don't know. Screw you guys. This is my opinion. All right, Johnny, what did you think?
I don't really remember too much about the match, but it was good that Julia Hart finally won this match, because a lot of people were thinking that Statlander would have won this match, or I can't think of the girl.
Sky Blue.
Sky Blue could have won this match. So it was a little bit of a surprise that Julia Hart actually won the match, and I do like her gimmick that she's going for. It's awesome seeing her all dark, and she fights really good, and she's, I think AEW needs to promote her more, and hopefully they'll do that down the road. But it's Tony Khan also we're talking about, so I don't know.
All right, so let's see what's going on with the tally for this one. But I believe that a lot of us are going for Julia Hart. So all of us went for Julia Hart. The only exceptions are Ninja Panda went for Sky Blue. Jack went for Sky Blue. Although I think the way you were doing it, you were kind of doing it more like picking a name out of the hat kind of thing. So everyone else went for Julia Hart. So to continue on, the next match, and oh my God, the next match. Texas Death Match. Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana dancing up as usual, going up against Hangman Adam Page. And oh God, this was the blood match to end all blood matches. You know what? I'm starting to forget what about the part that got me the most was the part when he I guess he kind of sliced open Swerve's forehead and stuff. Hangman did. And Hangman just, was it Hangman or was it Swerve?
Yep. It was Hangman.
Hangman just opened his fucking mouth and let the blood just rain into his mouth, which I don't like. I'm sure they get tested before doing shit like that. But,
Yeah.
But Vampire Hangman confirmed for next Smash Brothers. But yeah, there was barbed wire stuff. There were I think they had the famous broken glass and thumbtacks and shit. He just did all kinds of shit. I was waiting for him to actually do something different and pull out like the strobe lights, which is the only thing that AEW hasn't done yet. Because wow, it was a literal bloodbath. And it's like, I know people sometimes call it like they got a crimson mask when they're cut up and stuff. No, these guys had fucking full-on crimson bodysuits. It was that bloody. It was like, I have never seen a match like that. And it's so weird that like Moxley missed out. People kept joking and Moxley was like having a fucking seizure in the back, seeing all this and being pissed off that he wasn't a part of it. Which is the irony, because I think Johnny pointed out that during his own match, I even forgot all about that, to be honest, that he had a match in the card, that his own match was not bloody, and then like you get this fucking like the bloodiest thing of all time. Like, Jesus. Have you guys seen a bloodier match in this, not counting the indies where I know they go a little more loose? Nope.
Well, I mean, outside of a Mick Foley match, not really. No. Like off the top of my head. In the modern day, I guess you could say the dog collar match, but even that wasn't this bloody.
Yeah, this was like,
this was like way too like way over. Like I was literally at one point, I was like, oh, I think he I think Swerve might have cut himself too deep. Like I was legit scared for him. Because isn't there a part where it's like sticky coming out like that?
Yeah, it was.
I was like, oh God. Like, yeah, I was like, it was a bloodbath, a literal bloodbath. Like,
like this was way past like Terry Funk and Mick Foley stage, kind of bloody, and it was freaking awesome. I mean, it was scary. It was scary as hell. Don't get me wrong, but that's how a Texas death match is supposed to be. You know, it's not, oh, we're just gonna stay in the ring. You might throw in a table.
They could have used more sparklers, though. I don't know. It could have used a lot more sparklers, guys.
Yeah, the only thing missing.
Yeah, just a little bit more sparklers. But yeah, it's a Texas death match. It's supposed to be almost like a Japanese street fight match. You know, the only thing that didn't really go down was the fact that they weren't all over the arena, which that would have probably brought a little bit more interest in it, but I digress. Still, overall, a true Texas death match. Bloody, ridiculous, painful. Somebody's going home with stitches, and Moxie left home with a hate boner. I was all for it. I loved it. End of story.
Yeah, Wendy was pretty much squeamish and stuff during most of it. Well, I mean, I was a bit too, because, oh God, especially the vampire stuff. I don't know why. Like, it shocked me, not so much that he did that, but just the logistics of like, okay, so, you know, enjoy your hepatitis C, you know.
I mean, the vampire thing did kind of shock me because that's completely out of character for Paige.
Yeah, that too.
In character, out of character, it's still gross.
Yeah, it is gross. Somewhere Abdullah the Butcher's like, come on. Sorry.
And didn't we just laugh about a week ago saying you were going to sign Abdullah the Butcher?
Yeah, I literally pranked Ninja Panda. I was literally like, hey, did you hear? Tony Khan had a major announcement that he did. He's like, what? It's like, he just signed the newest signee, Abdullah the Butcher. And he's like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, no, he didn't do that. But could you imagine? He's like, the sad thing is I could imagine him doing.
Yeah,
and then
that was
match. And then this match, and we're like, whoa, yeah, it was like I said, it was.
This was close enough.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. When you can't get the butcher, but you get the next best thing, right?
Somewhere in the afterlife, New Jack is looking at Hangman and Swerve going, that's my boys. You know, it's just,
this match, wait, you know what? The thing is, it was so mesmerizing. I was so disturbed, but I couldn't look away either. It's like, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? What's going to happen? I was just so focused on that. And in my opinion, that ruined what the next match was for me because I was still focused on this one. Seriously, I was like, did that just happen? What's going on? Yeah, that's right. And he, Swerve won. I'm sorry. I was just, I don't know. This match just, I just have no words for it.
I will say, for me, you know, being like a hardcore wrestling watching veteran like you guys, I think this match elevated both of them like to a higher peak than they were prior, especially Swerve. Like Swerve was already elevated from their last fight, but this made it like boom, like it made him up there. But I will say I was shocked that Swerve won, because I felt like they were going to be, going to have a rubber match. I felt that's what the direction they were going. But I'm also like, fuck Hangman. So, like, that's me personally. I do agree with some of what Swerve was saying was true in that first promo they did, where he said, you've had everything handed to you. You're literally like, you were at the top from the beginning and you kept falling and kept getting back up. I've never even had the opportunity to be at the top. And he's right. And I do feel like he's pushing that narrative, but he's proven, yes, I am that good. And he is that good. And I love that he has so much more versatility in the ring than Hangman. And he proved it in this match, not just by using hardcore weapons, but like he's quicker, he's more agile, he's more reflective, he's more like just creepy. Like I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved
I'm
every
sorry.
bit of it.
Yeah, the creepy thing. I mean, when he started stabling himself, I said, "Okay, come on now." What is
Oh
going
yeah,
on
that
here?
was the thing too. The
Like, what is going
staplers.
on
Oh,
here? Why
and
he would
it,
be hulked up?
and it was also going from like, oh, that's a cool creative hardcore thing to really, really stupid back to really dark, dirty shit. Like the freaking finger paints of his son on his face. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in a hardcore match. And mind
you
you,
know what?
I've
When
seen
he
a
did
Japanese death match that ended with people that were literally, mind you, that was the dumbest thing I've seen in a hardcore match. And I have seen a Japanese death match that took place inside of a men's bathhouse. This tops that.
Yes. Oh God.
Oh my gosh, when he did that, when he stapled the thing to him, I said, why are you going to ruin your child's picture thingy or and staple it to a man's face? Like, oh, that is so silly.
In the chat when it was going on, in the chat, one of the best comments on online was was wrestling fans simultaneously going, wow, that's really cool. And also, your kid's drawing sucked so much you didn't want it on the fridge?
But like I was about to say, going back to the match, I am kind of surprised that Swerve won, only in the sense because what he did to Adam Page. So I thought that Page would come out on top with this, but I'm glad that Swerve won. I thought it was pretty cool that he won.
That was that part where that you were laughing too, Wendy. The part where I guess Nana did something and then Paige was going after him and Nana was trying to like dance his way out of it.
Yeah. I was like, I would laugh, say, it's like you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses and sort of like you wouldn't hit a dude that's dancing, would you? Uh-oh. See, I was laughing at that. Yeah, I was. Thanks for reminding me. I forgot. I wonder how Nana's going to do because he took that spot when he got slammed through the thing.
Oh yeah, then he took the spot and he was like just there, just knocked out, like for the rest of the
match. Oh, now this is something I would like to ask you guys what you thought of it, especially like Jack and Panda here. Okay, now when Weston and Swerve was kind of like out of it or whatever, was it Brian Cage just came in and he just took over the match? And that just seemed off to me. So in the Texas Death Match, where they're like, I mean, I know it's like kind of like no rules, but was okay to just step in for somebody else, even though I don't believe that was a stipulation?
Yeah, Texas Deathmatch, yeah, that's fully legal. I mean, there's no disqualification. So if you have a side man there, that's totally fine. If you have a replacement for your side man, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
I heard no one really liked that like Brian Cage had no place being there, even though it makes sense because he is one of the boys, but still.
To be fair, I was expecting that like if they were going to have an interference, it would be way earlier in the match. But I mean, it does taint the match a lot, but it's also like, really, what else could they have done to each other at that point? It's like,
how about ended?
Agreed, but that's apparently not the route they wanted to do. And
Tony Khan, best booker of the year, folks.
Yeah.
No, but this match was just like I say. I was squeamish in that blood drinking thing, and then I was like hepatitis C and everybody. I mean, seriously, I don't know what if Swerve has hepatitis and you drinking and all right. What do you think, Johnny? I'm all disturbed.
This match was it's a good match. Don't get me wrong. It was very entertaining. I'll give you that. I was actually surprised in the way that Swerve did won the match and well deserved. I think it was a good thing he won this match. I totally agree with that. And Swerve does look more powerful and he's faster. He's more agile. I just like the direction they're going with Swerve. But in terms of the match itself, it's there were times that's a little too much to watch the match. Like the whole, stapling and drinking the blood and all that. It's just too much, guys. I think they're so I don't know. It's just my opinion, but I think there should still be a little bit of a limit in terms of that. It's just a little too gory and a little too bloody for my taste, and it just felt like we're watching a Mortal Kombat match.
Yeah, they did
Same.
go overboard. They did go away. I will say they did go overboard for a lot of mainstream audiences.
Yeah, I said this was like ECW or something, like old school ECW. I could see it, but this is supposed to be like mainstream, maybe get a little blood here and there, but not in this capacity. And like I said, it was too much for me because I never was a big fan of bloody matches. I mean, I don't mind blood in a match if it feels realistic in some way, but in this case, it just felt like we're going to make ourselves bleed, because of the type of match that it was. And like I said, this belongs in like ECW, old school ECW, not this style, in my opinion. Oh, and I still think this dumbest spot of this match was the part with the cinder block. That's all.
Oh yeah, there was a cinder block spot. Like there was all kinds of shit they had, man.
Match was
Broken glass and thumbtacks and cinder blocks and barbed
Oh
wire.
my gosh, the glass spot when he put the glass on Paige and then Swerve did his little move to land on him and also hurt himself too. I thought that was kind of stupid.
But yeah, the match was just way too gory, and it felt like a very long match. Like I was thinking the whole time, man, when is this shit gonna end? Like it's a good match. And, they're going at it, and it's no limits, But like, holy shit! Like, when is this bloody match gonna end? Like, it just gets a little too much after a while, and there are times I'm just like, damn, I just want this shit to end already.
Yeah. So for this one, Johnny went for Swerve, Droopy went for Swerve, and Chuck Rodriguez went for Swerve. The rest of us all went for Hangman. So there we go. Then we got the next match that unfortunately had the the bad luck of being the match after this, because I think we all kind of zoned out, at least for me. It was the Golden Jets, Jericho and Omega going up against the Young Bucks, Jackson, Matt and Nick Jackson. And it was kind of like, let me see here. If the Young Bucks win, then Kenny and Jericho are forced to separate, like no more Golden Jets. And if Jericho and Kenny won, the Young Bucks already had like their big opportunity for a tag match. They'll take that opportunity from them. So now they'll have that chance to get a future AEW World Tag Team Championship match. So yeah, it was a whatever match. The only thing I remember the most was that I was, to my surprise, that Jericho and Omega won, and that one of the Bucks drew a fucking temper tantrum like a fucking child in the background.
Yeah, they're acting like petulant children, which they actually are, which is how I view them anyway. So they're not playing a character, they're right in character.
They're children with children.
Unfortunately. I just go ahead. I'm just
What is there to say about this match? It was boring. It was boring. I'm sorry. Like, how do you make a match involving Chris Jericho and Kenny boring? Like, I was bored out of my skull watching this match. I think it was also because the placement of it was terrible. Because you had one of the most like visually like overwhelming matches, and then you decide to put them after. Like you should have had like a oh, actually, you know what? This spot would have been the perfect placement to have that Orange Cassidy Moxley match. You know, because like there was like slower pace, people weren't really into it. Just give them time to breathe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I tried watching it. It was just like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You see one Young Bucks match, you've seen every Young Bucks match. It's the same thing. It's to quote Jay Briscoe. I miss him, and I love him. He said, "Y'all are like the Rockers, except instead you got two Janettis,"
That's so sad.
and it's true.
Okay. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm just gonna keep this very short and sweet. I went to go get something to eat at that point. Like, I completely missed the match. And apparently I didn't miss much. But yeah, I went to go get something to eat because I didn't even think that the Dumb Fucks versus Kenny Omega, which, okay, Kenny would have been a good person. His partner, Chris Jericho, used to be an okay guy. Again, now he's built like an air fryer. I don't know what the hell's going on there. It just didn't even seem like a good combination. Maybe versus each other, maybe Kenny and Chris versus each other, but not as a tag team. I didn't see it working. Not to mention, it's the Dumb Fucks. You've seen them once, you've seen them a million times. I went to go get something to eat, so I can't even really make too much of a comment on this match.
Well, like I was saying earlier, the fact that this match, and I think, in my opinion, I think any match that would have followed this, you're still so focused on the Swerve and Paige match that you would have had a hard time concentrating on this one. Because I know I was. I kept thinking back to what I had just seen with the, with the Swerve match, and I'm like, oh my God, how did they do that? How did they, all that stuff? And for this match, well, I didn't give a crap about it because the Young Bucks run it. But I will say that Kenny and Jericho kind of worked okay together because it's like Jericho didn't have to do as much. Kenny seemed to do most of everything. But I guess it was okay. The main thing I do remember about this match after I was finally recovered from the last one was the Young Bucks acting like a couple of children throwing a tantrum. That's about it, really. Because they ended up losing, so I guess they're going to be written off for a while.
So basically it was a normal match that they could have put on Dynamite.
Well, pretty much, yeah. Like Johnny was saying, quite a few of these matches just feel like they could have been like Dynamite or Collision or something. But, with the exception of the Swerve match, because that wouldn't have gotten past sponsors, I'm sure. And,
I'm certain.
Yeah, and then there's the ladder match. That was kind of pay-per-view worthy. But some of these other matches, like I said, just probably could have been like on an episode of Dynamite. And this is another one of them.
Yeah. Like,
so it's kind of underwhelming.
Literally.
Even the Moxley and Cassidy match felt like a Dynamite match.
Like, literally, my response to this match is Burger King's awesome. That's pretty much all I got. And like the whole time I was driving there, like you said, you were trying to get over that match. It wasn't really the content of the Hangman and Swerve match. It was just the simple fact of the bloodiest match was done by Hangman and Swerve. That was the part that really got me. I was literally just driving to Burger King going, the hell did I just watch? I mean, it wasn't even the violence. I would expect that from somebody like, maybe Moxley and Kenny or, somebody along that lines. I wouldn't have expected Swerve and Adam Page to go that far.
I think that's something else I was thinking about too. Not necessarily just those two doing the match, the fact that it wasn't a Moxley match. What was I saying, Mark? That I was jokingly saying like, oh, Moxley. Moxley's probably angry at this because he's not in this match, but he's probably also getting off to it at the same time. So
yeah, exactly.
Like I said, he was having a hate boner. He was so mad. He was just like, I should have done that.
What about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that one, let me see here. So for that one, Johnny, Joopy, Chuck Rodriguez and Sweet Pete all got points for the Golden Jets. The rest of us went for the Young Bucks. So yeah, the matches are starting to get more divided here. So then I believe.
But Johnny didn't give his opinion yet.
Oh, sorry.
So what I thought about this match is just stupid. Like, who cares about the Young Bucks? I don't give a crap about this stupid match. It's just stupid to begin with. But one thing I'm actually more disappointed in the fact that the Young Bucks are in the match. I'm actually disappointed that the Chris Jericho was really not fighting that good in that match. Like, he just seemed in horrible shape and he was getting beat up really badly. It's just like, damn,
Needs to retire.
Jericho here.
But that's why it seemed like Kenny was doing most of the work. That's what I was saying earlier. He was okay because Kenny was doing mostly everything.
If you rewatch my prediction, my whole reaction to All In, I said then, and I still stay by it, Jericho needs to hang up the boot. He cannot keep going anymore. He's well past his prime. He's past even the past prime of, like, say, someone like when The Undertaker was past his prime. He had a second revitalization. Jericho is past his second revitalization. He doesn't get a third wind. You only get two, maybe. And he's past it. He can't keep going. And, like, he keeps pretending, and they keep playing and filling this narrative of, like, filling in, like pretending he's as good as he was. He's not. He's not even as good as he was 3 years ago. I'm like, dude, let the dude stop. Like, tell him stop. Like, but because Khan will. I mean, why am I surprised? They brought back Flair. You think I'm?
I think this is ego. Jericho has too much of an ego to quit. Honestly, I feel.
Yes,
I mean, to be brutally honest with you, the last time I saw Jericho decent and in any sort of prime was, excuse me, sorry. Last time I saw him in any type of decent manner in his prime was when he fought Kenny at Wrestle Kingdom. That was the last time that I saw him in any form of decency in wrestling.
You know what's really funny? This kind of goes into a little bit of a, not too much of a rant, but I didn't mention this before. If you actually want to go off of history, everyone has this narrative that CM Punk is the biggest backstage bully of wrestling.
It's Jericho.
It's Jericho. Jericho has had more instigating backstage fights than any other wrestler. He had fights 3 times in WCW, 5 times in WWE. He even had 2 in ECW. Every place he's gone, he's had backstage problems except AEW because they feed his ego. That's the only reason.
Don't forget the hotels too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or like how
And
he
the
almost ran, or how he almost ran over that person that was outside the parking lot when they were trying to ask for his autograph. And oh, you guys probably don't know that story. Yeah, it was in California. He was it was like during that whole gimmick where he wasn't talking, and this lady came up to him, and he was getting into his car, and she was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Jericho, can I get your autograph?" He's like, "Fuck off, lady," and he gets in his car and he turns into her and almost clips her. Like,
it was just a work.
But that's him. That's him in a nutshell. But Punk is the real villain here. But it's so funny because, like, people want to keep pretending like he's like as amazing as he was. He's not. He's let the dude die. Let Flair get rid of all of these old men. It's literally that joke we said at the beginning was all elite wrestling should be all elders wrestling, because that's all it is. But I'm sick of Jericho. I'm sick of the Bucks, and like to stroke off his ego, Big Bill and Starks are going to drop to both of them. You know it's going to happen.
That's one of the cases where I kind of don't mind.
I agree, but I'm also
If it was
like,
like
who
FTR or
cares?
something or Aussie Open or something, I would be whatever. But like
Yeah.
those two,
Yeah, because they want to make those two, they want to make Big Bill and Starks so unlikable that anyone should take the belts from them, including these two. So that's literally like, oh, they're not a tag team. Well, neither are we, even though now we got a tag team title or whatever. You know, they're going to do that because there's a guy who made a perfect rant, and I watch him on Instagram. The name of his channel's Wet Meat Wrestling. I know it's stupid. Don't ask. Don't ask. Anyway, he made a point which is 100% true. He said AEW, all of their bookings, all their major bookings are around one core concept: friendship. Think about it. The whole feud they have with the Bucks and Kenny, you're not our friend. You're Jericho's friend. MJF and Cole, you're not my friend. I have no friend. Roderick and Adam Cole, friend. It's all friends. Friends.
But you know why? You know why that is, right?
Because this is written by a bunch of Care Bears.
because in the end, Tony Khan has no friends.
Exactly. Tony Khan
trying to like
only had. I would say growing up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, he's like living vicarious through all these people having friends, you know.
Yeah, and I was going to say, as a child, Tony Khan probably only had his wrestling action figures and his WCW on the TV and his WWF, and that's all he had growing up. So he never had his friends. So all these storylines surrounding friendship is what he always wanted deep down inside. And that's why he tries to be friends with his wrestlers as opposed to a boss and gets walked all over and fear for his life.
You want to know what the truth of it is? Let's all admit it together. The writing of AEW is bad fanfic. It's not even good storytelling. It's bad fanfic. Think about it. All of it is. It's a borderline sentence away from one of them going, yeah, so what if Tony was potty trained at 14? That just makes it cooler, guys. Let's all hang out together. It's one segment away from that, and you know it, and no one wants to admit it. He's going to insert himself, and you're going to see Tony Khan in full wrestling gear coming out and going like, hey, guys, is it cool if I hang? There's always room for one more. You know it's true. You all know it's true.
Mental steam now? Can we just play the mental steam and just why not?
You just need a laugh track. We literally just need a laugh track for every segment.
I don't care if it happens as long as we get Sammy Guevara getting hit by a golf cart again. That's all I want. That's it.
Oh my gosh. And also too, that does happen, not the Sammy Guevara thing, but as long as Tony doesn't try to do Garcia's dance again, I'm good.
So basically now we're going to the main events because I think we already covered who, whatever, who. So, oh my goodness. So first of all, mid pay-per-view, we had, updates on MJF's condition and blah, 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 blah. So, despite the fact that the fucker can't even stand without crutches, what's his face? Cole decided to step up and take it. And even have these little posters now that stuff MJF's face now is like Cole versus Jay White for the main event, all that bullshit. So, the main event starts, Cole shows up, it's obviously he can barely stand, Jay White's kind of cocky because, easy win, Then the ambulance comes in because MJF hijacked the ambulance and fought his way past the orderlies or whatever, and even though he's kind of fucked up, he could, compared to Cole, at least he could fucking stand, So, yeah, long back and forth. Obviously, White had the advantage in the beginning, but then MJF would grab him for some submission moves and some stuff, using more of his arms because his legs are in bad shape. And he did a famous spot where he does a move that is on the knee at the expense of his knee and stuff like that. So, back and forth, all that good stuff. But in the end, MJF retained. Oh, there was a close call because they're acting like, they're giving the towel to Cole. Well, Cole giving the towel because Jay had him as the kind of submission move and they're really playing up the drama and it's like, well, will he throw in the towel? Will he not throw in the towel? And all that kind of crap. But in the end, MJF won, and to the surprise, did the Guns come in for a moment?
Yeah, after
the Guns came in and MJF took out the Guns single-handedly and then kept going to, whatever, and won over Jay White.
Can I go? Let me go.
Yeah, I think everyone else should go first before these two go.
Yes.
I don't have much thoughts. Just, I think that for story purposes, Jay White should have won. And the other disappointment was that after all the buildup and all the stuff, they never revealed who the devil was. The devil never showed up. And the thing is, like, okay, if we don't reveal the devil, at least have him show up and send some goons after him or something. At least do that to build it up. Maybe Wednesday Dynamite will be the one where he finally gets unmasked. But at least have him show up. They talk about and they mentioned him. He never showed up at all anywhere during the program. That was like, well, that led up to nothing.
Oh my gosh. Where to start with what was wrong with this whole setup? First of all, going back to the pre-show when they're actually trying to get people to buy this pay-per-view who haven't already, trying to say, oh, will MJF wrestler or not? And everyone would have a brain would know what he's obviously going to come back. What's Adam Cole going to do? Unless Samoa Joe shows up in his place or something to try to defend it for him. But when they set it up to be Adam Cole showing up after that, we're just going to give the title over to Jay White because MJF wouldn't be able to defend it, which is also stupid because they could have be like, we're going to postpone this match until MJF can come back and defend it, which would make more sense. Not this bull crap with him just saying, oh, we're just going to give the belt to Jay White because MJF can't defend it. I mean, and the other thing I had a problem with, they're going to let the dude with the busted up ankle. No. Let me backtrack a little bit. The fact that Adam Cole said, I talked with Tony Khan. He says I can fight you. Okay, seriously, so that means that just proves that Tony Khan does not care about his action figures and keeping them in pristine condition. That's why all the wrestlers get injured in AEW because Tony Khan does not care about their health and their bodies and all that stuff. And he's gonna let Adam Cole, whose ankle is legit messed up, be in the main event. I thought that was so stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. The thing with the devil not showing up, that was a letdown, and I still say it could have been Britt Baker since Adam Cole was already there. I think that would have been interesting. Just saying. And then the other thing I thought was dumb. Oh, MJF. Okay. First of all, they messed up his leg or his knee or whatever it was. They took him out in the ambulance. Seriously, there is no way that he should have been able to come back when he did, because normally if you go to the ER, you want to be there for a while. I don't care if you are MJF. He just had a messed up leg. Oh, that guy over there got an arm is hanging out the socket. That guy having a heart attack. Oh, no, but we got the wrestler here. Let's go and fix his leg that only needed that little itty-bitty ace bandage. And you telling me he want to steal the ambulance to come back? Who didn't see that coming? I'm sorry. It was just too predictable. And MJF should have lost. Jay White, that just made Jay White look weak by comparison. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's just so much wrong with all of this. It just is terrible booking. What are they thinking? Now, before that angle, I was thinking that maybe MJF may retain. But it all depended on how the tag match went. Because like I said, Samoa Joe really wants to go after MJF for that title. So I was saying, okay, they won the tag match. Then, MJF was probably going to win. But after he got injured, I was saying, well, maybe they're going to have him drop the title to Jay White. And then they try to elevate him. But as we can see, it didn't go that way. So I don't know what they were thinking with this one. And I'm sorry, Johnny, I'm gonna turn this over to you because there's just so much wrong. Let Jack and Panda take it over.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
has been totally wrong since the get-go, since the very beginning with the pre-show match. I don't think that whole thing shouldn't have happened to begin with. The whole MJF getting beat up, leg injured, sent to the hospital, and then miraculously he came back for this main event. Adam Cole was trying to volunteer to, fight in his place, but the whole thing was just stupid. Okay,
Yeah.
the whole thing is a big waste of time. It's too much like melodrama. I want to watch some good old wrestling, people beating people up. I don't want to watch all this drama shit. Okay, all this reality show shenanigans. So honestly, they should have skipped that whole storyline. It should have just the match should have been like how it was originally attended. MJF versus Jay White. And even if MJF was going to win this match, it should have still been done the way it was originally supposed to be set as schedule. It's not. In other words, if MJF is going to win the match, he has to win it in this normal condition, not in this whole like my leg is super beat up, I could barely walk, I could barely do anything, but for some reason I'm still able to whoop Jay White's ass for like, well, what the hell is all that about?
Yeah, they look bad.
And again, it's like what everyone agrees. It makes Jay White look like a crappy opponent. He's supposed to be one of the best wrestlers out there, but he got beat up by MJF in his current state. Like, make it make sense. And the whole shit does not make sense at all. Like I don't think there was. I don't know why they even wanted to go through that whole.
I have one thing real quick before you guys do the rant because it might pop up, but I'm thinking now, sometime think about it. If you notice, most of the times, if not all the times, the MGF is defending his title, he's never the main event. And I'm thinking that this was one of the first times that like the actual main event is MJF versus XYZ. In this case, it's Jay White. I think they did that bullshit because it's like, oh no one cares about MJF, in the main event, even though he's, our top guy and whatever, and we give him all this screen time, whatever. Like, what can we do to spice it up? How can we make people care? And they do all this, like what Johnny said, all this soap opera shit as a way to raise interest because maybe Tony Khan and them thought that no one would care about a main event with MJF in it, like just, as a regular main event without all the theatrics or whatever. That's what I'm thinking.
They should have just, I'm sorry, they still should have just had Samoa Joe do it or something. They had Samoa Joe because that would have been cool. And I was kind of expecting to go in that direction after he got hit. I said, oh, well, maybe they have someone substitute for, when they say substitute and Adam Cole. And I thought Adam Cole might go and say, yo, Joe, Joe, can you help us out, please? And even this is also stupid that I forgot to mention that Johnny was saying earlier. Okay, it's okay for action figure Adam Cole to go and defend this title, but MJF limping into the building. Oh, no, don't go to the ring, MJF. Maxwell, you don't know what you're doing. Stay back. Like Johnny said, make it make sense. The guy that can actually walk versus the guy that is on crutches because his ankle's broken in like 5 places. I mean, make it make sense, please. Tony, what's going on through that coked out brain of yours?
Oh.
But yeah, honestly, this is probably one of the worst, storytelling, booking, whatever you want to call it. It was like the worst main event in that aspect. Like, there's nothing believable in that match. There's no actual, like, this is the problem with wrestling. This is why a lot of people think this, wrestling is fake. And yes, of course, it's not 100% real, but at least don't put such a shitty storyline. It just makes people like say that, oh, this shit is super fake. Like there's no logic behind all of this at all from so many different angles. And honestly, I honestly don't know what Jay White personally think about all this. Like what's going on through his head when he's thinking that he has to agree, I guess, from a story perspective that he has to lose this match over current state that he's, supposed to be super beat up in the leg. They can't really do much, but yet he still lost the match. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
now that you mentioned that, I heard that Jay White actually did have a problem with the way everything was being booked with him up to this point. So I heard that. So that he wasn't, he was not very, down or cool with this outcome. So I guess we just turn it over to the two our two encyclopedias here, wrestling encyclopedias. So
Ninja, you go first.
Okay, I'm going to go first, and it's probably going to have a lot of four-letter words. So I went ahead and I installed a censor button onto my computer just in case I need it. So, okay, the tag match, I get it. You hurt your ankle, big whoopity-doo. It should have been Samoa Joe coming out there and going up against Jay White. That's fine. But you mean to tell me that they let Adam Cole walk out there by himself, no security, no nothing, and hobble his way out to the ring and go, I'll fight you. But all of a sudden, MJF comes out of a mother ambulance, and then he hobbles his sorry to the ring, and security guys are like, oh, hold him back. That was a bunch of horse. I can't. And this guy. And then you take 2 cups and then with a goddamn, it's fucking ridiculous. But no, in all seriousness, this has gotta been the shittiest match ever. And I don't blame Jay White. Now, don't get me wrong. The only shred of grace that I could see them having with putting Jay White in this position is the fact of, yeah, a lot of AEW marks don't know him. They don't know about his New Japan background. They don't know about his Indies background. I can give them that. He probably hasn't been in there long enough to make that big of a name for himself. But those that do know, which are a lot more than just regular AEW marks, know Jay White, know what he's capable of, know his lineage. If anything, he should have beat MJF, and the next match should have been him and Ospreay at some point, because those two have been around each other for the longest, but they have never collided, and that is something that needs to fucking happen, especially in AEW. That would be a big Wrestle Kingdom deal right here in the homeland on AEW. That would be fucking insane. But no, you have MJF try to pull off some bullshit heroic Cody Rhodes shit because of his ankle, which isn't even really hurt. Come to find out, he dislocated his hip later. Yeah, big deal. But when it comes down to it, this was just all a big-ass shit show just to appease MJF. Screw the censor. Fuck this match. Fuck it. This irritated me so bad, I told Jack I was going to stop watching AEW if he would have won this. That's how bad this match pissed me off.
I already told Ninja, I told everyone months ago, leading up to this, if Jay loses, I'm done. I'm done with AEW as far as watching it on a regular basis. I'll do the predictions with you guys. I'll still be on the podcast, obviously. I can't. I'm sorry. It's the thing of it is I can't. I have to explain in context the level. Like, this is the Dante's Inferno of bad booking. the levels of bad booking in this. By the way, one thing no one's talking about, the people that were at the Kia Forum, which I know a couple, the entire arena was booing MJF winning. The entire arena. Reason being, you're in LA, New Japan country. You are in New Japan's home turf. They have two home turfs, Tokyo, Japan, and LA, because of the LA dojo. Every time there's been any sort of thing in LA, every single time New Japan has done a show, it's sold out instantly because of LA. And the thing of it is, going into the previous buildup of the match, it doesn't make any sense for a person who's actually injured to be able to be cleared and then a fake kayfabe injury not be cleared. It's zero sense. Because like Khan simultaneously wants the fans to both be stupid and intelligent. You can't do both. You can't be great at a math test and flunk it by not putting your name on it. Like, you can't do both. You either suck or you're good. That's it. And the thing of it is, it didn't make any sense for MJF to win this match. Him retaining the Ring of Honor tag titles, fine. Who gives a shit? At this point, it also didn't make sense because, as I said before, he could apparently beat Aussie Open single-handedly. He could beat the Righteous single-handedly, but the Guns, that's way too much, guys. I cannot handle this on my own. I need the services of Samoa Joe. I need him in my corner. What? That doesn't even make sense in story. Next, cut that all out. He gets injured. Then he gets put into an ambulance and is screaming like a bitch. Please, let him keep my title. And I'm thinking, this is your top guy. This is your world champion. Think of all of the wrestling world champions in all of wrestling history. Have you ever heard any world champion being put in an ambulance crying like a bitch like that? Ever. Think about it. Any wrestling company, I don't give a shit what it is. You never hear the top guy crying and whining as much as MJF is. Then this stupid idea of Tony Khan approving Adam Cole, who has two plates in his ankle that have still not fully healed and calloused over to the point where he can't even put on his own ring boots. He wore sneakers and gym shorts into the ring. The dude had to lean on the freaking ropes because he couldn't stand on his own weight for his own ankle. And you want us to collectively believe, yeah, he could beat Jay White. Yeah. What? In what fucking world does this make sense? Then you have them simultaneously. Tony Khan is okay with approving a person who's legitimately injured, but a kayfabe person, you need to get the security out there. You got to prevent him from coming to the ring, guys. It's too much. It's too much. He can't do it. And yet somehow also it didn't make any sense if you go even further. So we're supposed to believe that MJF was so weak he had to be taken out in an ambulance, yet he was strong enough to not only allegedly assault an ambulance driver, but steal the ambulance and drive it to the arena. Because no one was driving it, he was driving it. So he was strong enough to assault and steal a car and bring it to the ambulance and walk from the ambulance to his own ring to be in this title match. And then you're going, wow, this is just getting dumber and dumber and dumber. And you're going, bet it can't be that much more dumb. And Tony Khan says, hold all of the beers. And he goes, no, now we're going to have the Guns at ringside. And they're going to interfere. And they're going to use weapons. And Jay is just going to be what he always is in the ring, a surgeon. Whenever you watch a Jay White match, he is just like Zack Sabre Jr., he is a surgeon. He goes after an injury and he keeps going after it until you're done. That's how he's beaten the best and he's been the best. Then you have this stupid notion of somehow the Guns get kicked out of ringside. Fine. Whatever. Jay doesn't really need them. He's good enough on his own. He really is that good. Like, he doesn't really need a faction. The faction needs him. But you have Cole do the ring thing. Then Jay has the ring. Then MJF has the ring. Then it's a back and forth, and MJF wins. And they had the most fake crowd noises, because someone even pointed out online, the crowd cheers that they put in the pay-per-view were the ones from the fucking video game. They piped in the video game's sound effect of the cheers. That's how loud the boos were. And Jay literally, I forgot to mention the best part of that whole match. Put all this into context. Now, I'm telling you all of this. The spot where MJF does the diving cutter, he missed his footing. And he not only was this close to snapping Jay White's neck, he also dislocated his own hip when he fell. Jay White, mid-tuck, had to go turn his neck. Had he not turned his neck, he would have landed on his chin and snapped his neck. And this is your top guy. This is the guy. This is the guy you put all your faith on, all your booking on, every single main event, every single pay-per-view, every single title. This is the guy. And Jay White literally said after it, he went up to Tony Khan and he was fucking furious because he said, this story was stupid. This made no sense. The booking didn't make any sense. You sidetracked every single storyline leading up to this and focused more on the Acclaimed than you did Jay White. You focused more on the Acclaimed and the scissoring bullshit and the Devil, which never even showed up, instead of Jay White. The booking was written right there. You could literally go, Jay White's in LA. LA is New Japan territory. Have the Homeland Boy versus our top guy and just have a fucking fight. The story was already built up. He stole his belt. He wants his belt back. Who's the real champion? Because while people want to forget, since Jay White has had the Bang Bang belt, which he rephrased it, he also changed the style of the belt. No one's ever talked about that. It's no longer the Burberry belt, that scarf look. If you look at the belt, it's brown and leather, like a holster, because it's the Bang Bang belt. Never once mentioned in story, but it has been literally changed since Jay White held it. And since Jay White has held it, he has been undefeated, and he's had more active matches as the fake champion than MJF has as the real champion. That is all of it. That is my cavalcade of the Dante's Inferno of shitty booking that AEW has become. And I'm fucking done. I'm sorry, guys. I'm done with their shitty booking decisions because I'm like, I can't. I can't. I don't know how can you support a company that is like this? This isn't even like, oh, this is bad fake wrestling. This isn't bad fake wrestling. This is just bad writing. I'm going to say it right now. This is what would happen if Tommy Wiseau wrote a fucking match. That's how bad this writing is in this booking.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Jack. I just have to say it since you mentioned that. We already know about Tony Khan's friend thing. And you see Roderick now. You're tearing me apart.
It's one friendship is magic away from being that. And you know it is. Every one of you guys knows it's gotten worse. Since MJF has been champion, tell me it hasn't gotten worse. You can't, because you know it's true. He has been the worst booked champion of all time. They book him more like a god than Cena or Hogan combined.
Hmm.
And at least Hogan and Cena had a lot of like either drugs or backstage policies. MJF weighs like half of the roster's weight. Like he's not like, it's not like it would be like someone like a Brody King or like someone like a, I don't know, like a Luchasaurus, where you'd be like, oh, you could at least book him as a monster because he's a monster. He's just some jackass. Like he's just some jackass. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, and the fact of the matter is, it's proven here more than anything. MJF is not a good wrestler. He is backed by other fuckers who protect him. Don't believe me? Look at every match he's ever done and tell me that the people carrying that match is him. You can't. The people who carry that match have been the veterans and the people he's been up against. Literally, the Fatal 4-Way was the worst match he ever did because no one gave a shit.
Oh, on
Next
top
to
of
this
that,
match.
if you watch the media scrum, MJF was just bawling like a baby.
Was crying in the media scrub.
Well, like
Oh,
for the
yeah,
long, I forgot what it was about. I think it was because
I know.
like the
I don't
friendship, right? Like because I never had a friend. You know, I never had a good friend. Like Adam
That's
Cole,
right.
and he means the world to me. Like all that kind of.
That's right.
battling
I
drum.
wasn't. That's right, because I wasn't watching. I was only listening. You were watching, and I was just listening because I'd fallen. I was getting sleepy, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Oh, that was just.
He was just being a little punk.
He was being Punk's bitch. And he always will be, because literally in 2 minutes, Punk has reclaimed the wrestling world that all these idiots dropped. And you know it's true, and everyone knows it's true. In 2 minutes of him walking out and just going, he did more talking for people than MJF did in an entire title run.
Very true.
Mm. Oh wow. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up. We've all said what we said, but yeah, that was not the finish that we needed. I mean, MJF had his title for a whole year almost, and he actually beat like Kenny's record. So it would have been a good time for him to drop it. It would have been a good time to see what Jay White can do and have MJF continue a storyline because, you know, Wardlow's after him, Samoa Joe's after him, you know, that kind of shit.
Well,
So there's still stuff for him to do without the title, you know?
Well, I also really truly believe, based off of backstage reports, not only was Jay White severely pissed about this situation, like he is now, because people don't realize he only signed a 3-year contract.
Mm.
So, and this is like, this wasn't a small contract with him, because remember, he also signed it with him and the Bullet Club name.
Mm.
So he could, if I were him, I would bounce. After this, I'd be done. Because I know Jay can recover from this. I know Jay can recover from this. But literally, Jay White lost literally to a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Literally.
Oh boy. We'll see what happens. I do want to say real quick with this, with the tallies and everything, the winner was surprisingly Jupi. Jupi actually got in the lead. She almost did a full sweep. The only thing that, if you know, because that one match with the tag titles, ladder match, that all of us got wrong. If she somehow would have guessed that these guys would have retained, which I don't blame her for not guessing that, she would have gone like just a clean sweep every single match. But everything else, like she's won it. Second place goes to Sweet Pete and also Chuck Rodriguez. And I guess multiple people got Johnny, Sweet Pete, and Chuck Rodriguez all got tied like second place. And then the rest of us, we all fall here, there, whatever. But I think last place was Oh God, I guess last week was actually Jack because Mr. Contrarian and all that. So but other than that, and yeah, that's how it goes. So yeah, we'll see what awaits AEW and how they if they can end the year on a good one, because we can still got one more. December, we got two of them. We got Ring of Honor Last Battle. I mean, at least for me, I still kind of count them as AEW ones because, the AEW people are in there. What's his face? Wheeler Utah recently won the Ring of Honor Pure Championship again, so he'll probably defend against someone else. So we'll be seeing Wheeler, I'm sure, in the Ring of Honor thing. There's a tournament going on because Samoa dropped his TV title, so I'm sure we're going to see more matches or the final match there, and more Athena hijinks. And then we also got World's End sometime in December because it's too much, man. The two pay-per-views and I know like people can say, well, actually it's Ring of Honor, but it's the same shit. They own the same thing. You know what I mean? So Ring of Honor and World's End same month. We'll see how that goes. And at least Ring of Honor will be good. And even if it's kind of sort of, you can kind of excuse it as being its own different thing. I don't believe Tony Khan books that. So yeah, we'll see how World's End ends for AEW. But yeah, you guys are welcome to throw in your predictions, but obviously, I guess you guys will be watching the actual events, and I won't blame you after all that stuff. Unless they do something where maybe in Dynamite next week or so, Jay wins the title or something. I don't know, which I doubt at this point. But, But anyways, guys, yeah, I think we all said our things, and we got stuff to do for the weekend. This is a Sunday night. We got work tomorrow. I think all of us got work tomorrow in some shape or form. So signing off for the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, America's #1 cure for insomnia, the 51st episode. This is Mark Rodriguez signing off.
Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews signing out.
William White, a.k.a. Ninja Panda 1980. I'm out of here.
Yeah, Jack and Panda are literally out of here. Okay. Anyway, this is Wendy, also known as Joopy Chan or Ninja Joopy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway, I want to turn this back over to the one, the only, the man of the hour, the man with the power, Johnny Rodriguez with the high chew.
It's Johnny Rodriguez. And I forgot to unmute the mute button. I just remember, holy shit, this is worse than I thought it was.